an assassin, like Blackfeather, Taka, it's really good onto that Baron.
Okay.
So they got to be very careful here.
Very aggressive composition out of SK, and the Blackfeather comes through. That was banned last game by Cloud9. Taka, the final pick. This is the first Taka we see this entire tournament. Now, I've been getting involved in the Vainglory community. I've seen a lot of memes.
It's going to be really, really interesting.
That it will. And one thing I want to point out as well, Jetpacks. He's got his Ardent. It was banned away in the first game, and he's just performed spectacularly with it through the regular season. I mean, realistically, you're looking across the board right now and you're thinking, okay, Joseph, Tucker, Jetpacks, Arden, Tyrus, he's on his Samuel. There are just so many good comfort picks for these guys. It's going to be such a close game.
So sharing backs this time here for Cavalifar and Tyrus, and it'll be Jetpacks coming into lane, trying to stop that early C9 push. Cavalifar will turn up, so taking their foot off that acceleration pedal have SK, deciding that obviously lane farm incredibly important. And I agree, I think that you do have to be aware that lane farm is a massive, massive thing in the early game. You can't give it up so easily that SK did last game. Cavalifar struggling to get the farm under his belt though. Gabevizzle doing this really annoying thing where you heal the lane minion when they're trying to farm under turret, and not only does against the melee lane, and not only does that deal damage to them, but it also makes it very difficult to land that last hit. So it's going to have a minor effect throughout the game, but it can be a little bit of a mental game for Cavalifar. If you're consistently missing CS, you can get a bit tilted. You can say, oh no, I'm missing CS, and you know that could then snowball out of control. So it's a bit of a mental play there for Gabevizzle.
Joseph even is going to come around from the side here. Tyra's in a little bit of trouble. Samuel, strongest level power 2 spike in the game. He's going to jump straight underneath that turret. Takes a turret. He has a lot of damage, 200 to be precise. Drifting Dark as well. That's Verdict's available to him. Gabevizzle was on the side here, but Joseph's in a 2v1 situation. Does use the boost to get away. And in fact, Cavalifar has to retreat as well. Kaku for Joseph. Gabevizzle is going to meet him, so diffuse that situation quite nicely.
They're going to try and steal these backs as well. Not only have they been able to get away here, they're going to steal a hell of a lot of SK's jungle on the way out. And that is classic I Love Joseph right there. She's going to stealth in. This is a bit of a bait right now.
It is a bit of a bait. He's actually on the back line here. Cavalifar actually just pushing old school. Gabevizzle's fairly low though, so Cavalifar doesn't want to get too close to Cavalifar, I should say. Old school backing off underneath his turret. It's not too much of an issue, but I Love Joseph looking to do something sneaky.
Very messy early game here, by the way. All teams a bit over the place. SK not quite steady. Do you feel that they aren't yet feeling comfortable with the way that they want to approach this game? And C9 are just pulling out these cheeky little plays which are keeping them in safe and also getting a bit of gold in the meantime. Pressure here on the main though.
Joseph's in a lot of trouble. Does use the heal to heal himself up. Tyrus takes a little bit of damage from the turret. Joseph still surviving though. Old school as well. Isn't going to get taken down just yet. Kaku on the side. 26 HP on the side of Gabevizzle. That was disgustingly low.
It was so close, but I Love Joseph has taken this opportunity to try and push into the enemy jungle. Will have that Kaku available. Does steal the healing camp there.
Oh, no.
And Joseph will continue to wander throughout SK's jungle, doing what he can to steal things away. The Stormguard banner right now means he's going to get another one. He's going to have that Kaku too.
Oh, that was close. On point, almost hit him. They're going to find him. Does use the boost to get away. It might just be able to get out of here, but just jumps into Tyrus. Actually goes straight over him, and Joseph still ringer Rosie. He says all around SK's jungle. Meanwhile, though, if you look at the lane on the map, you can see they're just pushing this in.
He got that as well.
Again, and he's still getting the healing caps. How is he still doing this? Gabevizzle's going to be there for the heals. Jetpack's going to come through, though, but Tyrus, he's going to pick up first blood eventually after just being run around just about 5 minutes.
You might have got the kill, right? And First Blood does give you that boon of gold, but you lost out on lane farm by committing Cavalifar. Joseph got every single camp there. Joseph picked up every single camp and wasted a good 45 seconds of SK's time running around the backside of their jungle. That is just insane from Cloud9. They're even able to get away with that. Even able to be allowed to get away with that. But despite that, Cavalifar keeping up in farm with old school right now, so SK pulling out a slightly better early game by tapering off that aggression and playing a little bit better to their win condition. But you obviously are seeing that Tyrus is not being able to exploit those early power spikes too heavily from Samuel right now, because I Love Joseph making it very difficult. The level advantage is there for I Love Joseph as well, because he has taken so much experience by stealing those camps too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is now he is level 6. Does jump into the Kaku once more. Titan Jetpacks even. He's going to go underneath the turret once more. Like, he just keeps going under the turret over and over and over again. He knows he's got the regeneration from Gate Fizzle available to him. Tyrus is going to come through to the lane as well. Cloud9 just hammering on this aggression. Kaku once more. Tyrus is going to be the target this time. Old School doing a lot of damage with those rocket launchers. Tyrus is going to have to be a little bit careful. He's going to kite back using that drifting dart, but Joseph's actually just going to solo out somebody. And in fact, Old School is going to go down a little bit too far forward, and Cavalifar and Tyrus are just going to be able to deal with them without too much of an issue. Baron very, well, not very mobile as soon as he's used his jump jets.
Remember, the mortal wounds from Taka will shut down a bit of the Tyrus' healing, but not only that, Tyrus, I Love Joseph, not yet level 6, so doesn't have that instantaneous gap close right now. Here we go, SK looking to put pressure under the turret.
Drifting Dark onto Gate Fizzle once more. They're pressuring him now. They do manage to take out the kill. Tyrus picks it up, but Old School's going to be here as well. He just picked up his Sora, but he's got a lot of damage in his back pocket. Does have jump jets available to him, but doesn't want to go in, not without the support from Gate Fizzle.
I think C9 have been underestimating the power of the Ardent Vanguard at this point in time. They are committing, thinking they're going to get the damage down, and then Jetpacks is bailing out those crucial members, giving the movement speed necessary to kite away for the Samuel, and obviously Samuel's sustain coming through that Drifting Dark as well. SK off to a good start here versus C9. Not quite the dominance that we saw C9 have over SK in the previous game, but Cavalifar on this Black Feather, we know what he can achieve on it. Tyra's on this Samuel, who has just picked up the Frostburn, by the way, so it's going to be easier now for Cavalifar to stick to his targets, but also on the flip side, it's going to be easier for Tyrus to kite away from the likes of I Love Joseph too. So sort of a double-edged sword to this Frostburn right now for Tyrus having picked this up, and Cavalifar also bringing sustain to the party with that Serpent's Mask. I wonder if Old School might be tempted with a Poison Shift this game. It could be something to sort of alleviate and add more mortal wounds to this lineup for C9.
I mean, it's an item we've seen growing in popularity on 2.4. See now, it's a nice little overview camera. Jetpacks dives him onto Gate Fizzle. Gate Fizzle in a lot of trouble. Joseph's going to kite him straight to the back line. No, Gate Fizzle in a heck of a lot of trouble, but it doesn't matter because Joseph's already taken out one. Gate Fizzle going extremely low. There's the on point. There's the Blood Brothers. Four Cavalifar ends up picking up the kill, but Joseph comes up big, but Cavalifar shuts down Old School. He's got his number through and through. Old School is not getting a breather.
C9 ignoring Cavalifar. He's got that Serpent's Mask. It's a big spike for him. Joseph taking lots of damage, but again, Kaku comes through. Joseph's so good at using that ability.
Oh, hasn't got available to him just yet. On points are going to miss. Joseph sidesteps it. Cavalifar takes one too many hits from the turret, decides to back off. Gate Fizzle's going to be here for the healing. Joseph, does he want to go in again? Has got Kaku, gift of fire as well to heal him up, but decides not to.
If you want a 101 on how to play Taka, I Love Joseph is your man. He has unbelievable mechanical prowess on this hero, but let's not take away from what SK has achieved right now. Cavalifar, again, on his own comfort pick, and C9 are committing to these fights. They're committing their bodies, including Old School, and you have to be aware of the execute potential of a weapon power Black Feather. It's a really, really strong pick into a Baron because it can stick to him like glue. Baron has one chance to get away from danger, and that is with his jump jets. When he gets out there with his jump, that is his only way of then kiting away because he has pretty poor movement speed otherwise. Cavalifar with a double rose offensive, easy for him to stick to him, and he also has that execute potential of his A too.
There you go, jump jets away, 18-second cooldown. Kaku for I Love Joseph, maybe looking for an entrance here, but on points, and Malice and Verdicts from Tyrus and Cavalifar are just going to keep them at bay. Tyrus on about half HP now. SK Gaming, mentality not shooken just yet, forcing Cloud9 back, I mean. But let's look at later stages of the game. I mean, Old School, I'll interrupt myself real quick as Jump Jets is going to come out. He's going to jump straight into the gauntlet, though. Oh my word, what was that? Stunning two more members as well. Cavalifar is going to come up pretty big. He's going to jump onto I Love Joseph. He's in a lot of trouble, doesn't have Kaku available. Kaitan's in. Will he be able to find Tyrus? No, he wasn't, because Cavalifar's going to be there to secure the kill. Does end up trading 1-for-1, however. Gate Fizzle, last member alive for Cloud9, but Jetpacks, he's got the gauntlet, and this guy is on fire already.
Jetpacks, what a beast, and now Gate Fizzle is going to be the target. Can they find that executing blow? Looks like Cavalifar's going in.
Yeah, he's going in. He does pop. The reflex block, is it enough? I think it is. Old School's going to come up as well. Can't really do all too much damage, but that turret jump jet's forward. In fact, he's going to do a lot of damage in a lot of space of time, and he gets one. Jump jet still on a 10-second cooldown, and Jetpacks is going to make it out nice and safely, but my goodness, Jetpacks, if he lands more gauntlets like that, this game is over.
Yeah, that was an insane gauntlet because the jump jet's already been used, caught him at the very end, didn't get the double basic attack off either. and then obviously Cavalier is free to find an executing blow. But has this been a poor move for SK now, because they've left their turret open, and now with Cavalier down, I don't know if they can defend it. Here comes the Oblivion.
Oh, Oblivion does actually sleep Old School as he jump jets away. Kaku from Joseph to get out of there, but first turret does go down, and it will be over to Cloud9.
It's going to be a breaking point for Old School as well, so it doesn't feel like he needs the Poison Shiv. But I tell you who has got the Poison Shiv, it's Cavalier, and Joseph is the target again.
Joseph in a lot of trouble, no Gauntlet, no problem. They're going to dash forward, they've got a lot of mobility on their side, Drifting Dark to help them out, but Crystal Century and the rest of Cloud9 will be there to escort him to safety.
So my one worry with this C9 composition, and you kind of seen it in the way that these fights have played out, there's no one really to protect apart from a heal from Old School, from Gabe Vizzle. There's no one really to protect. Looks like they want to commit to this gold
Ion Cannon comes down, hits Jetpack, Rocket League forward, jump jets even, I should say, forward. Tyro's in a lot of trouble there, but Drifting Dark healing him up. There comes the Fountain, and Tyro's already doing so much more. Gauntlet comes down, trapping 3 members of Cloud9 in. Burst is going to come through as well, does end up getting blocked, and now Cloud9 are pushing this trigger. They want to be able to take someone out. Joseph jumps straight back in, goes straight into Kaku. They manage to take out another. Ace comes through for Cloud9, and finally they've got their foot in the door.
Oh, big mistake from SK to make that play on Goldmine. Cavalier took too much damage right at the start. They should have been better off just disengaging and giving that over to C9. It was a mistake. They should have paid for it, but they paid for it in ounces now as well, because C9 needed to pick up both that and the turret, as well as stealing away some of the back camps. SK had a grab on this game, a absolute stranglehold on the way these fights were playing out, but C9 found their way back in through exploiting and good timing on their engage on that Goldmine as well. They predicted how long SK might be spending on it, they waited, and then they committed when they felt enough damage had already been done. They exploited that neutral objective, doing a lot of work for them in that game, and they did it excellently.
And the thing is now as well, Old School, he's just gonna keep getting stronger. Yeah. Sora Blade, Breaking Point. I mean, you've seen what he can do in close corridors already with his passive, his rocket launcher. The problem is, if Cloud9 gets to the later stages of the game, I mean, Tyrus and Cavalier, yes, they're gonna have a lot of damage on their side, but the problem is, so's Old School. And we've seen what he can already do on a Baron.
Absolutely. Here goes I Love Joseph again.
X-Retsu straight into the back line. Ion Cannon is going to come down straight in the middle of everything. Tyrus is separated now, but it's not going to matter. Old School's going to jump jets out of it to safety. Oblivion comes down. It is going to get blocked. Tyrus in a 1v2 situation as Jetpacks. I Love Joseph is going to go for a one-on-one with Tyrus. He is going to get met with Jetpacks. Jetpacks is going to save, but it's not going to matter because Old School's going to come in with a jump jets, pick him up. Jetpacks is going to get chased down as well. X-Retsu on the back line. Tyrus does manage to get away using the boost, but Kaku isn't going to be, you're not going to be safe for long with that Kaku on Joseph. Is he going to be able to find him? Cyrus finally picks up the kill with another X-Retsu. Jetpacks is going to get away, and Cloud9 even the score up at 8-8.
Buying these fights perfectly for them. Don't even have an Atlas Pauldrons yet, by the way. Old School picking up a coat of plates prevents a lot of that damage coming down from Cavalier, making it harder now for Cavalier to find those executing blows. Definitely not as easy as it was before. I do think SK Gaming have to consider an Atlas Pauldron soon, but as soon as the Atlas Pauldron comes out for SK Gaming, Cloud9 are going to have one as well. So both Cavalier and Old School are going to have a difficult time dealing damage in these fights. But realistically, these fights don't seem to be about Old School or Gabe Vizzle. These fights are about I Love Joseph. He has been a monster, so difficult to get out of that Kaku. He's been very difficult to take down and has been finding those annoying executing blows, huge damage bursts with the build that he's got as well, having that Storm Crown and Aftershock already completed, putting Tyra's way out of the fight. And look at this from Gabe Vizzle. He's brought an infusion and an alternating current to the table. He's now a damage threat in his own right. You have to respect that burst of judgment even more.
Well, they want to fight. Gauntlet gets laid down from Jetpack's burst as well, but it's already a kill comes through for SK Gaming. They managed to take out Old School completely out of the fight. Now it's a 3v1 situation. They're going to push forward. That was over before it even started. That Gauntlet surrounded them all. The burst of judgment did nothing, and that was it. SK Gaming had won the fight.
Yeah, they locked that Baron in there. Once Baron gets caught up, easy money for Cavalier to be able to take that one down, and this is a swinging set of games there between these two. SK finding their way back in through a fight that when they've got these cooldowns available, they can focus down Old School. And when Old School's dead, realistically, a lot of the late game prowess and team fighting capability goes out the window. Maybe SK need to turn around and say, let's ignore I Love Joseph the best we can. I Love Joseph doesn't steal it, but commits.
Kaku, he's got the X-Retsu available, doesn't want to go in. 2v3 situation right now with Old School hiding around in the bush. It's like we're going to a replay here, and you can see.
Yeah, he jumps straight into the Gauntlet there. Damage went down. I don't actually think he got stunned. I think that was actually crucibled by Gabe Vizzle, so it was a great crucible. But the damage went through and also meant that he was easily targeted by Cavalifar then. It was a great engage by Jetpacks, again, on a hero that he's so comfortable on as well. Atlas Pauldrons comes through for Jetpacks. He's going to be able to put a lot of pressure down onto Old School in these fights now as well. And Cavalifar's got armor, Tyrus has got armor, everybody respecting the potential damage output of this Baron, which, by the way, for those of you that aren't familiar with Baron, probably the highest single target or even splash damage output of any weapon power carry in the late game. He hits like a truck. So in a lot of ways, you do have to consider armor versus him.
Okay, Vizzle's going to dash forward. Rocket actually jumped it straight from Old School. X-Redsu straight onto Tyrus. Tyrus melting. Use that drifting dart for healing, but it's not going to be a matter. Cavalifar is going to use the road offensive to get away. Gauntlet as well from Jetpacks. Big cooldown used for the disengage.
But it was a fantastic time for C9 to search for the fight. Gabe Vizzle running in there, getting the slow. Kraken is available. And actually, they're going to go for this turret. They want that more so than the Kraken. Tyrus is going to be up in 13 seconds. Maybe the minions will do the work. Yes, they will. And now C9 might set up for this Kraken.
Perfect. Cloud9 now rotating down now. Third turret for them. And they dissuaded in the early game. Not too much of an issue for them. They know they can bring it back with the Old School, with the damage from Old School. And I Love Joseph being able to just pick people off left, right, and center with that Aftershock and Stormcrown as well. He's going to do a lot of damage to that Kraken. They are starting it up and just releashing it over and over again. Kaku comes in, X-Redsu on Cavalifar. Jetpacks is going to be there. Crystal Sentry is also going to back them up just a little bit. And Tyrus as well on the side. And Cloud9 going back to lane pressure.
I think that's what SK need to be careful about, because if they are stepping out of position, the punishing levels are so high from C9 because of the engaged potential of I Love Joseph, and now the fact that Gabe Vizzle is also a damage threat in his own right. Here we go.
Does look like they want another fight, another jump jet straight into Oblivion, though it does get blocked up. Old School 2v1. He's still surviving because the rest of his team are just clearing this fight up. I Love Joseph finds a kill onto Tyrus. He's going to jump straight on to Cavalifar. Rose offensive away, just picks up Gabe Vizzle. Double kill for him. 2v1 now, and this is the problem. Joseph's alone, but we've seen what he can do, but he hasn't got much energy to work with. SK Gaming, they find another fight and they make it work, and that was even without the gauntlet.
Yeah, this is the problem I feel like that Cloud9 are having in the fights. We talked about everything that they've been doing right, but compositionally, there aren't many ways to protect your Baron in the late game. You've only got Verse of Judgment, which is CC. Other than that, there is literally no peel other than what Baron provides for himself. And that is an absolute dream field for a Blackfeather. Blackfeather can literally run in and no one is going to stop him. He can save Rose offensive for only when he needs it to get through things like Verse of Judgment or to try to block damage. He doesn't need to be worried about a Lance, Scythian Wall. He doesn't need to be worried about CC from a Catherine. Anything like that is off his radar right now, and you're seeing Cavalifar go absolutely crazy in these fights. Tyrus now is almost a utility-focused distraction. There for a Frostburn and to keep I Love Joseph busy while Cavalifar does work on that Baron. But Baron, at this point in time, I think Old School needs to look at the way he's positioning. He needs to be more defensive. He needs to make Cavalifar come to him and use that jump jets to force Rose offensives from Cavalifar, because right now he's jumping into Cavalifar, making it 10 times easier for SK to win these fights.
Oh, Cloud9 have not scout trapped that brush. Here comes the Gauntlet. 3 members of Cloud9 now trapped in there. Old School is going to jump jets away, or at least try to. Oblivion comes down, sleeps one, but already Cavalifar just dealing with the Baron without too much of a problem. Double kill comes through. Is that a triple? It might just be, but I Love Joseph he's still fighting. Crystal Sentry there as well to help him out, but there's just too much damage for Cavalifar. Ace comes through for SK. Kraken is open as well. Could this be game 2 going over to SK Gaming?
It's looking very good for the European team right here. Myself and Jaws, not biased, but rubbing our hands together. It is good to see Europe step up to the plate, given how well C9 played in the last game. It looked like SK, they shore up that early game, don't make any silly, over-aggressive mistakes, and suddenly they seem to have some sort of work on the C9 number. But let's be honest, I think a lot of this comes down to the drafting phase. You picked a Baron, and you don't have any ways or realistic ways of protecting the Baron. Poison Shiv basically counters the only way that you're keeping this Baron alive, which is through that heal from Gabe Vizzle. But then you lose the potential, if you're trying to heal the Baron, you lose the potential to apply Gift of Fire through an easy means like I Love Joseph to the backline like Tyrus. Compositionally, it's very difficult for C9 to actually work this game, and SK seems to have the number.
Exactly what they've got right now. Kraken marching down the lane. That turret about half HP right now, just getting chunked out by Cavalifar using those on points from range. When those double stacks are obviously Rose Offensive having a stacking up to 2 times, can use it very, very quick succession. Old School's not had a good game thus far. Iron Cannon as well, just to dissuade SK, but that's doesn't like the Kraken is just not going down anytime soon. Even gave Vizzle with the alternating current. Is just trying to chomp through it, but the range advantage from SK is pretty apparent right now.
Yeah, they can't commit too hard here. I think they'll be happy with 2 turrets with this Kraken, and they're going to back off here. They can't commit to the fight, though. It's too difficult to fight in those situations because from what you're finding in these fights, a lot of these fights are quite extended. You know, you need time to build up those stacks for Blackfeather. You're allowing him to just sort of beat Old School over a number of seconds. If you do that under a turret, you're never going to find a win. So you have to be very careful about the places that you choose to fight here for SK. You kind of got to draw Cloud9 out into the open so that you have a completely free field for Kvalifar to be super mobile in and find those wins. We're going to have C9 just taking their back camps away. Super careful here with these flares coming down. Know that SK seem to have their number. Old School's now got a metal jacket, by the way. Not something you see on Barons. I want to really highlight this, right? Old School has got a metal jacket. Barons very rarely build any more than a reflex block. This does limit Baron's potential power ceiling. Baron does like to have 4 weapon power items to really hit the hardest. And with the metal jacket, suddenly he's not going to quite have the same effect that he could do if he had 4 damage items. It makes the pick a little less effective than it would have been if he'd been able to go 4 full weapon power items. That is crucial to SK because Baron usually provides a timer in terms of a late game powerhouse. Now that powerhouse is more like a power shed.
Oh, Old School might be in a little bit of trouble here. In fact, Wartrade's going to get popped. There comes the Gauntlet, but this time Old School is outside of it, but it's not going to matter. Iron Cannon comes down, hits Tyrus, and now Old School is in the prime position, but Oblivion is actually going to separate his team as I Love Joseph jumps into the Kaku to get away, but SK, they're just going to be able to chase this one up. It's a massive problem here for them. If they lose Joseph at this point, gets flared out as well, Tyrus and Kvalifar are just going to be able to chase him down and finally cut him down. Goes down. Who's it going to go over to? Rose Offensive. Oh, actually. Kaku away. Titan over. See you later. There we go. Another kill goes over to Kvalifar. 11, 3, and 5. This guy is just popping off. So
you're seeing Old School really struggling to deal the damage necessary. A lot of armor on the side of SK as well. Kvalifar's got his own metal jacket. And this is the problem when you have a Baron that can't commit to 4 weapon power items. Not quite as scary as you generally tend to see Barons being. And remember, the control from SK in these fights, they've got great zonal control with the Gauntlet. They've got great zonal control with the Frostburn on the Samuel. And they're actually just controlling the pace and making it so much easier for Kvalifar to get the work done necessary. Everybody on SK right now is basically facilitating Kvalifar, either making it easier for him to chase his target down or being a big enough damage threat that it provides a distraction so Kvalifar isn't the main target right now. And Kvalifar also picking up a breaking point. Remember, if he's now surviving longer because Baron isn't doing enough damage, he's also building up breaking point stacks a lot easier. Frostburn allows him also to build breaking point stacks easier because his targets are easier to hit as well. SK have got a great composition here. Comfort picks for them in bounds, and it seems to have paid off in this second game of the series.
I mean, you can see the scout trap vision here for SK. Just absolutely, just covering the map. Just making sure they can spot I Love Joseph at every single moment of this game.
Yeah.
Kraken is going to go over, and I mean SK, they are looking for the victory here. Cloud9, they're just cramming in this bush, just making sure they can just find a nice engagement. Gavizzle showing himself now, same with Old School, but I mean it all just came down to the draft phase, it seemed.
Absolutely. SK could look to force another fight here, but it's C9 doing
Gauntlet does come down. Versus is going to come out as well. He's going to get blocked perfectly. Old School again is in the middle of the fight, surviving somehow, but it doesn't matter because there we go. Kvalifar picks up the first kill. He's just got his number. Old School can't do anything. He's going to jump a Rose Offensive straight onto I Love Joseph, who ends up falling for the double kill. Gave Vizzle last member alive for Cloud9. He's got an alternating current, but he's going to go down. Ace for SK and game number 2.
SK Gaming seal it out. I think compositionally won this game, draft won this game, played it perfectly as well. They were really struggling against Old School in the early game, but then they hit those item spikes necessary to have the team fights that worked. And again, there just wasn't enough protection or heal for this Baron. And because he was forced to go metal jacket because of how much of a threat Kvalifar was, he never hit the ceiling that Barons can hit.